Hey, welcome. So let's think about something for a second. What if time wasn't just this thing that ticks by on a clock? What if it was more like a mountain you had to climb every single day? Well, we're about to dive into a really powerful piece of writing that sees memory, struggle, and time as one big, incredible journey. Let's get into it.
Right out of the gate, we get this core idea, this central metaphor. Time isn't just passing us by. No, it's an active, upward struggle. Time runs becomes my climb. That one line just sets the stage for everything. It tells us we're on a journey that's part race against the clock and part grueling climb up to some unknown summit.
So, where does a climb like this even begin? Well, it starts with a choice, a conscious decision to look back. We're going right to the source, to an Origem's memory.
And you got to pay attention to the wording here. This isn't just some random memory popping up. It's a deliberate flashback, a journey. The text even calls it a sea journey, maybe a journey of the self, or a journey across some vast inner sea. The point is, the speaker isn't just along for the ride. They are actively on a quest into their own past.
And this quest? It has a very clear purpose. Digging through the past isn't just for fun. It's about getting to a point where you're ready. You see, the story doesn't end when the credits roll. It ends when we are finally ready to move on. That's a powerful thought, right?
Okay, so deciding to look back is one thing, but what you actually find there, that's a whole other story. This journey immediately runs into its main problem, a climb through waves. Just picture that for a second, the hard, upward fight of a climb mixed with the wild, chaotic power of the ocean. It sounds almost impossible.
And this struggle seems to happen in three phases. First, there's this attempt to fight back with pride, using your ego as a shield. When that doesn't work, the whole strategy changes. It shifts to something more humble, to climb beside the problem instead of fighting it head on. And that new path leads right to the third step, sacrifice.
And this is just such a deep insight. The cost of this whole journey, the things we have to give up, it happens almost without us realizing it. It's not like a deal you knowingly make, it's just baked into the climb itself. The price is paid long before we even know we're at the negotiating table.
So what's the result of all this fighting and sacrificing? It's a total paradox. The prison, that feeling of being completely trapped, it wasn't there from the start. It is born from the waves, from the fight itself. The very act of struggling is what creates its own cage. Wild.
But this whole struggle isn't just about being trapped. It's also, believe it or not, a creative act. Out of all that chaos, something is actually being built. And that brings us to the city memory built.
So here, memory isn't just a passive thing. It's an act of construction. It literally builds a city. But check out the twist. It's a city where we don't belong. I mean, why would our own memories create a place where we feel like a total outsider? It kind of suggests that the past, once you rebuild it, becomes this place you can visit, sure, but you can never really live there again. And what are the bricks and mortar for this city? Words. The speaker is actively building a bridge with words. On one side of the bridge, you've got the past. Who spoke through me? Maybe that means ancestors or just a former version of yourself. And on the other side, the future, a silence to be filled. The act of telling the story is the very thing that connects the two.
And this is where we see this huge shift. On the left, you have this passive feeling of being choice in that choice, like you're just a pawn in circumstances. But on the right, you see the defiant response, every words I build. The speaker is grabbing the pen, taking control of the story, and going from being acted upon to being the builder.
So, after this whole epic journey of memory, struggle, and creation, where does that leave us? Well, the ending isn't some neat and tidy resolution. It's something much more complicated. It's about accepting the futures that we can no longer get back.
Wow. What an absolutely heartbreaking way to define home. It's not a place, it's not a building, it's not even a person. In this internal world, home is the collection of all the possible lives you could have lived. All those paths you didn't take. It's a place made of pure longing for futures that exist somewhere, but can never be yours.
This is the final haunting image we're left with. After the climb, the fight, the building, what's the payoff? It's not some clear, logical answer. Instead, reason sleeps. It's just been put to rest, suspended in a moment of freefall, rocked by the very same waves the speaker was fighting against. The journey doesn't end with the solution. It ends in a kind of surrender to something way beyond logic.
And so this is the question we're left with.
In that moment of surrender, when logic isn't running the show anymore, what takes its place? Is it acceptance? Is it intuition? Maybe even peace? The text doesn't tell us. It leaves us to wonder what awakens inside of us when the long, hard climb is finally over.